As 2025 draws to a close, one issue continues to dominate conversations in homes, offices, and even on social media: the issue of insecurity. From banditry and kidnapping to communal clashes and the lingering effects of insurgency, many Nigerians still feel the weight of a security landscape that remains fragile and deeply concerning. Tonight, we take a closer look at the big picture. What exactly is the federal government doing to address insecurity? To help us unpack these issues, we are joined by someone at the heart of the administration's communication and strategic planning. Our guest is the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo. Good day, sir, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I would like us to start with one issue I know a lot of people have on the back of their mind: the issue of security. We started it at the beginning of the year. Yes, we had some issues with the New Year and all that, but through the year, we didn't have much except one or two here. But towards the third quarter, it appears there was an uptick. What is the latest being done to address the issue of insecurity in the country?
Well, as far as I know, the what I would call a flare of kidnappings and abductions and so on, well, to some, even to the security, they feel is orchestrated, just something done to embarrass government and so on. But I think government has seen that it's more like a wake-up call to look at the whole security architecture and to see what is missing, to fill all those vacuums and then take it up there. And the president, as if he knew what was going on, what was going to happen, last month or so, or 2 months ago now, changed the service chiefs,
Yes,
and brought in some new people to man the security architecture of the country. And then suddenly there was this reaction from the US, even Nigerians themselves, some Nigerians from some parts of the country going abroad to say there's a Christian genocide and all whatnot. Well, the government on its part had to push back this propaganda against the government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria, actually. And despite all the efforts, President Trump still went ahead to label Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And you've seen what happened thereafter. The government tries to engage the American government, both at the legislative and executive levels, and we've seen what came out of that. A Nigerian delegation going there, and then we've seen the Americans are coming for a fact-finding mission. I'm sure they must have seen that the narration they got earlier did not actually capture the issues we have in Nigeria security-wise.
but have we been able to get an understanding of what their findings were?
Well, I'm sure they came. I know that they spoke with the NSA. They went to Benue State, spoke with the governor, and they also met the Tortiv. I think they also met the Bishop of Makurdi also. You know, the Middle Belt has been the epicenter of this one. So it was good that they went to that place to really have a feel of what was going on. The Nigerian government position has always been that, yeah, we admit there have been some killings, maybe even some many killings, but that these killings were not provoked by religion. Some other factors were driving them. That has been the government position. And every life really matters, either Muslim or Christian, and the government is concerned about those unwarranted killings, and has always tried to create some measures to stop all those killings. You can see even in Plateau, in Benue, there have been peace committees and so on to ensure that communities can live together in harmony. And you can see even what the president said recently, really trying to touch the cause, the fundamental cause of what we have, especially in the Middle Belt, the cattle rearer versus farmers, and asking states to come in to help so that you can have, instead of having cows all over the place, let's ranch them. Let's stop all these problems that we keep having over decades.
Okay, well, I would like to understand before, in this sentence you've done now, there are a lot of issues, but let me pick back to the U.S. From the engagement thus far, would you say it appears we've struck some sort of understanding?
Well, I didn't attend all those meetings,
yes,
but I think when the rep member, Riley Moore, who has actually been the most vociferous for the critics, I think what he tweeted was more conciliatory. I mean, stating that he's been to Nigeria, he has seen things, and so on and so forth. I think that's why I said I believe that they've seen the other side. All these months since Trump came in, it has been the same set of people, well, just blaring all kinds of propaganda against the federal government, against the people of Nigeria. Even look at what's happening in the southeast part of the country. People claiming, those who went abroad to tell the American government that they are killing Christians, they also claim they are killing Christians in the southeast, when all of us know that 98%, if not 99% of the population, they are basically Muslims. So what you find there is a different ballgame altogether. You find Christians who are also killing fellow Christians. So that allegation of Christian genocide cannot hold water there. And in other places where we witness killings, in the Northwest, for instance, it's more of it's Muslim. So you cannot, again, then I said the major problem has been the Middle Belt. Yeah. And as I said, other factors are driving this violence, and not necessarily religious factor.
Okay, now, there are 2 points to that pronouncement by President Trump. The point people were like, okay, yes, there's that issue of the labeling, but there's also the issue of the coming in. And people were like, don't come in. If you want to assist us, give us necessary what we'll need if you want to assist. So I don't know if there's...
Yeah, incidentally, Mr. Trump has been a Nigerian supporter, in fact, the greatest supporter in terms of giving us some security support. Under Barack Obama, Nigeria, I think Buhari then tried to buy a Super Tucanos, but Obama would not sell. Under the excuse that, we are having human rights issues. But when Trump came, Trump said he should sell to Nigeria. And Nigeria bought those Tucanos. If under Biden again, this issue again arose, Nigeria wanted to acquire some ammunition and so on, the same excuse, human rights issue, blah, 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 blah. Again, they didn't say there are some things they wanted to buy from US that they couldn't sell. But I said Trump in his first term sold. So Nigeria thought perhaps under Trump too, that we can get those things that we needed. So it was a bit surprising that the same man who had supported us in his first term is now the one who's saying we go to Nigeria, guns are blazing, and all whatnot. I think I said the Nigerian government is trying to engage the American authorities, not to try to invade the country, because to be breaching international law, to invade a sovereign country. And the government has been saying, yeah, we welcome your concern. We thank you for trying to show concern about what's going on in our country. But what we want from you is not to come and invade us. Don't come and put your ground troops in Nigeria or you want to bomb Nigeria. Give us the arms. Yes. The Nigerian security, we did the rest. So that is where the Nigerian government is now, trying to appeal to them to help us to acquire weapons. Okay. There was something let me tell you something. There was something I sent to our security organizations something like a radar that they can buy to monitor everywhere. It's not satellite, it's just a radar. And while I was reading literature, they said, oh, this thing, if you want to buy it, you have to buy it through US. You cannot just go and buy it on the shelf. If you say Israel said to me, you will find that US will need to authorize it. And these are some of the things that Nigeria needs to really be able to monitor what's going on in the country.
Well, so we still
need American support.
Okay.
We need US support.
Okay. And but we're still working on that.
Yeah, Nigeria, as I said, Nigeria has been, the president by using back channels and so on, has tried to explain so many things to the American people.
Okay. I would like to understand, because a lot of times it appears whenever we're talking about a state of security, it looks like more is put on the federal government. And I would like to understand how the presidency is working to ensure that the states play a more active role in this.
It's not just the state. If you read I think Nigeria defense policy or something, it's stated there clearly that security is not just the issue of the federal government or state or local government. Every Nigerian is supposed to get involved in security. Every Nigerian. I remember a former police commissioner telling me when he came to my office in Lagos some years ago, he's late now, Arabame. He said anytime people came to tell them at the police headquarters or police station that they have been robbed in their homes, and he say, you lock the door? And he said 99% of the time, they forgot to lock the door. He said, we forgot. We didn't know the door was open. He said, because if you lock the door and a robber comes, he said, at least he will spend like 10-15 minutes trying to break your door. But if you leave it open, you just open, it's open. He will come in, attack you, sweep anything he wants to sweep away, and then go scot-free. So that's why I said security begins from all of us. I see people at times on the road. They will enter, I see people maybe, they just stop anywhere, they won't go to the bus stop, stop anywhere, flag a taxi that you already have people inside it. And then maybe they are robbers. Maybe they are those we call one chance or something. And then along the way they throw you out. And then you say, oh, President Tinubu, hey, insecurity. But you caused it. You didn't go to the right place to board the taxi. People say, oh, well, but it will take some time to walk to the... I say, is it not better to walk to that place? It's even a form of exercise to walk anyway. Walk to the bus station or taxi park and board the taxi there instead of just flagging on the road. So that's why I said this thing belongs to everybody. All of us, we have a duty to perform in terms of security. And that's why the president has been saying in all the statements he has issued in recent time that even for churches and mosques, if you want to hold a gathering, inform the security. Let them give you some kind of a shield so that if anybody is entertaining an idea somewhere, once you know that there are policemen, there are armed policemen or armed soldiers or something, they will think twice. So that's why it's everybody's concern. And you can see the reaction of the state. Let me talk about council first of all. I've been to some parts of the country where I travel from with a team, including the Minister of Information. We travel from Kaduna, Kano, from Kano to Dutse. By road in Jigawa. And I noticed that about 150, 200 kilometers, we only saw on the way one police vehicle. So you can imagine that the whole stretch from Kano to Dutse, you can just call it ungoverned space. In Nigeria, ungoverned space. So all these mischievous elements, they can just go and erect a camp along the line. And then they start another round of problems for the country. So but if the local councils are there, they are doing their work, then they can stop things like that. I think it was the CDS, the present CDS now, he said when he was a lieutenant in the army, he used to attend security meetings at local council level. Okay. But I'm not sure things like that happen again. And then you move to the states. You can see the reaction of the Southwest when there was a problem, following the problem in war, when they came to bomb the church and many people died and so on. They came together and said, look, we can't leave this thing to federal government alone. And they set up Amotekun. In recent time, they are beefing up the strength of the Amotekun. At least to some extent, has helped them. And this is what I believe. Some other states have done similar things, trying to, like, if you look at Borno, all these Boko Haram people, they set up the JTF. It's been on for many years now. And I think the states, all the states, should not leave this into federal government alone. But since the flare of abductions, you've seen meetings in Kaduna, London governors coming together, you've seen the meetings in the South, Southern governors coming together, everybody talking about how to step up security. They are telling you they don't want to leave it to federal government alone. And the president said, go and set up state police. And has told the National Assembly, look at the law. I don't even think any state should be waiting for National Assembly. This is an emergency. They need to really step up their own internal security.
Internal and regional, like
Internal
you say,
regional,
because it appears the Amotekun example.
They need to.
It's also
who made the law? We made the laws by ourselves. If the laws are inadequate, we can breach the laws because life is involved. And it's an emergency. Everybody, the states need to do something quickly.
I think some will argue that your position that it appears we or the people are not doing or they're not playing their roles. They will also come back to say it's because of a distrust between them and the security forces. Because everywhere else, you participate, yes, in securing yourself, but it's also informing the authorities where you feel there's a security threat.
Yeah, that's why I expect that if anybody wants to do, let's say you want to organize a social event,
yes,
and you are inviting 100, 200 people, you don't just leave things to chance. You inform the security that you need some kind of police protection. Because any gunman can just come there and start shooting. So if you don't have any security around you, anything can happen. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Just about last week, Urashoyinka went somewhere and said we should start teaching security in our schools. Every Nigerian must be conscious of security. I am very conscious of it. And I never endanger myself. I won't say I'm driving to Lagos from Abuja in the night. It's part of security consciousness.
Yes.
I will not do so. Or going to dark places in the night, I won't do so because anything can happen to you. You blame yourself, not the government, because you endanger yourself. So what Shoyinka said is very important. That's why I'm saying everybody in Nigeria should know that security is not just the business of federal government or state or council. It starts from them. You know, there have been some cases where you find communities, some people, they will see bandits in their area, they will not go and report. They will not report. How will the security people know? Or they will find some people in some areas collaborating with those bandits, or even cohabiting with them, and they will not go and tell the security. And if something happens, they will say, oh, they've killed us, they've done this and that. No. Everybody should be conscious that the job of keeping all of us safe does not lie alone in the hands of federal or state or council. If all of us are involved.
But you know, the point also comes to the issue of the number of our security personnel, which I think is what led to the president also saying that, look, we're going to withdraw
those people,
just to try and, but that's not even all. He's also said there needs to be employment of more officers.
More men.
Yes, to try and address that. So the sooner that one comes in, we'll be looking. But on this issue, you know, because it brought up this issue again on the issue of the VIP escorts and the need to get them to what is their primary responsibility. Even though he now raised, I would like to get a clarification from you on the last FEC meeting. He raised the issue of saying that, yes, he's aware some people may need, some of the ministers or public office holders may need some security, peculiar situations. And he now said they should get to the IG of police to come and get clarification and authorization from. Does that still mean we could see a situation where some of them...
Let me first of all give my own opinion about some of those things.
Yes.
This is my second time of working for federal government. And my first time, when I went to NAN, Institute of Nigeria, I was told that they introduced one man to me. They said, "This is your chief security officer."
Yes.
I said, "What?" I said, "What?" No, they even said, "This is your CSO."
CSO.
I said, "What's the meaning of that?" They said, "Oh, chief security officer." I said, "I don't need him." And then they took me outside. They showed me 2 pilot vehicles. They said, "These are your pilot cars." I said, "For me?" I said, "I don't need them." My first day. You see, Nigerians, those of us in public offices, we like to play big man. And I think it's a psychology that we need to get out of. As of today, as a special advisor to the federal government, to Mr. President, I don't have a single security man. I don't have DSS. I don't have police. Because who is running after me? I don't have that kind of fear that somebody is going to attack me or something. I can go anywhere. I want to buy food, I go to the restaurant, I say, buy it, eat my food or take it home or something. So Nigerians, you see, I've seen some SSAs, SAs with police, and I say, what is all this thing for? They will get to some place, somebody will now, a policeman will come out and be opening the door, as if it's a shaft or something. We need to get out of those things.
When you say we need to get out, people will say that's what government should do. Government should set a standard.
No, the president has said, this thing begins from us as individuals. It begins from us. And I always look at people, some of them, they will go, they will have one policeman or something. If they understand security, if they have security education, they know that lone policeman cannot save them. Even if they have 2. You must have a platoon of police or soldiers if you think you are really under threat to follow you, not 1 or 2 policemen. If there is an attack, they are useless. And we have seen it. We've seen some of these our expatriates being attacked. They have police escort. They first of all kill them. Then they carry you like a chicken. So then you wonder why do you have all those people around you? They can protect you. You need to be streetwise to get wise about some of the places where you go. Don't endanger yourself. And that's what I feel. What the president has said is that these policemen, their duty is not, primary duty is not to protect so-called VIPs. It is to protect the vulnerable members of society. They are not supposed to be doing guard duties for people. No, that's not their job. That's not their job. Their job is to protect all of us as citizens. If they protect all of us, either you're a minister, special advisor, SSC or SA, you are protected.
Yes, but the point
you are in that group.
The point he is now made, where he's now said, if you need,
yes, go to the special, civil defense.
Okay, not the IG, because he said the IGP.
No. Some of them, like for example, if you are, there are some officers that are statutorily entitled to police.
Okay.
If you are Senate President, for instance, you're entitled to police. Mm-hmm. If you are the Deputy Speaker or Speaker, you're entitled to police. They will give you police protection. If you're a governor, you get all those things. So
those are the ones.
Others who may say they need it, they are in danger.
Or they are places of their communities.
Go and meet the civil defense.
Civil defense.
They will give you protection. They are also harmed. So they will offer that kind of service. I went to a ministry recently, I think Ministry of Solid Minerals, and I saw a man, armed receptionist. I look at him and say, are you a policeman? And say, no, civil defense. That ministry is already using them. It has been using them for some time. Civil defense, not police. Do we have a timeline when we expect everybody to comply with this? That's why the president retreated. He wants his order to be implemented immediately. Okay. He wants it to be implemented immediately, not to be deferred. Not to be deferred. The IG has already done what he ought to do. You have to recall them. If you go around Abuja, yes, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I was coming out from my own house in Durumi. I was going to Asokoro, and I saw some police people on the road. They were stopping vehicles. Do you know what they were looking for? Policemen.
Oh.
They were arresting policemen. The police are arresting policemen. In fact, once they see a so-called a vehicle that looks like a VIP, big man's vehicle, yes, they will stop it. If you have a policeman there, they will arrest him. They've been doing that to ensure that at least they conform with the order of the president.
I would like to take you into the issue of local government autonomy. Because when we're talking about the issue of security and all that, even while you were talking, you said there were roles for the states, roles for the local government. Now, one thing I remember when the president and your administration came in, tried to address what the issue of local government autonomy, to strengthen the local government, give them their role, see that they can play their role in the levels of government. But despite the optimism that went out, as a lot of people felt when the Supreme Court gave its judgment, it appears there's been little movement since then. As people that pushed that policy and tried to help empower that movement, what is going on?
No. There's a Supreme Court judgment.
Yes, there is.
It's the final judgment.
Yes.
So let's wait. Let's give this president some time to make sure that to enforce that judgment. There's a judgment already.
Yes, there is.
So it will be enforced.
Yes, because when you say it will be enforced, we've had months that it appeared, and I think for a lot of Nigerians, the expectation was that with a Supreme Court judgment, states should fall in line.
The federal needs the support of the states to implement the judgment. But yes, I can assure you that judgment will be enforced.
Okay. And we hope it will be enforced as soon as possible. A lot of issues, when you look at this, our security situation, there is that for us within the country. But there's also that from outside the country. And a lot of people will tell you that we may be feeling the effect more from outside, the ease with which there's movement into the country from people outside some of these terrorists or armed groups outside the country.
I agree. That is why the new defense minister now once advocated that maybe we need to erect walls.
Yes, I think
Nigeria. We have porous border. Look at the border in the northern part, Niger, Chad. It's just open.
True.
On the western part here, from I think it's also Niger down to Benin, all these places, they are open. Nobody can. No, you can't. Although the Interior Ministry is trying to use some technology to man the borders, but it will still help to consider what the defense minister now, what he is saying, that we need to really erect borders. I think in making that advocacy, he made a reference to Pakistan and Afghanistan. In the past, Afghanistan fighters would just enter Pakistan, do some killings and go. But Pakistan erected border. Erected walls to make sure that their country is protected. I think it's something that you need to consider. At least, let's even begin to build some walls. So don't just leave ourselves open. It's like you build your house and then you have no fence. Even if you have no fence, you must do something that will make it impossible for anybody who enters. To
serve as a deterrent.
Yeah, you are trespassing. But in our country, they just in and out, and we just leave our flanks open. That we cannot. There's no way we can protect ourselves. And then you look at the origin of the problem we're facing today. What they've been saying from President Buhari's time has been that we've had influx of arms and militia people as a result of the war in Libya, the problem in Libya.
True.
So it's a problem. There are problems generally in the Sahel, armed groups all over the place. Look at what they've done in Mali, encircling the capital Bamako. This militia. So some of them, since it's a free border or whatever, they will come to Nigeria, go to elsewhere and do whatever they want to do and create problems there. So General Musa's advocacy, I think we need to consider it. It's expensive. Security is expensive.
True.
It's expensive, but it's something that we need to consider.
And considering the land mass that Nigeria has, that's also very expensive.
It's
and
expensive,
very lengthy.
You need to start
long term.
You can start.
True.
You don't need to do it in one day. You can have maybe a 10-year program to wall people around.
Okay. Now, this brings me to the issue of ECOWAS and the role Nigeria is trying to, at least the one we played with the coup in Benin Republic, and how, you know, I'm sure you are in the media, so you saw the reactions that trailed that movement, that if we can be that decisive with that move there, how come we're not doing that for within the country?
Well, you know, Nigerians are just people that we remember Ebenezer Obey's song in those days, the donkey and the man or something.
The owner of the horse.
You can never satisfy Nigerians. If you take one step, they find something there for some faults and lampoon you and something. If you don't do it, they will attack you. I think, first of all, Nigerians need to commend the president for, in fact, not waiting to Third National Assembly, for decisively moving to save democracy in the Benin Republic. It's too close to our home for the soldiers to try to take over power, to overthrow a democratically elected president. And in Benin, you wonder why did they even do it? An election is due very soon.
It's next year.
Next year. So the man has few months to run as the head of the country. And it's like, wait for election. And I always believe that soldiers who are interested in politics, they should remove their uniform and go and take a party card and contest election rather than trying to use, because they are armed, behaving like bandits or armed robbers, trying to take over power. No. Let them remove their uniform and go and contest an election. And they know that it's not so easy. And you have seen, even in recent time, not to even talk about the past, what they said when they were taking over power in Niger or Mali or Burkina Faso. The problem they thought they were going to solve, they've not solved them. Instead, the problems have become more compounded. And then you wonder, what is the benefit of so-called military rule? The civilians, yes, I said democracy is not cheap, it's not easy, but it's still the best form of government. Because every 4 years or 5 years, whatever your constitution says, people have the opportunity to throw away a government that they don't like, and then they elect a new one.
Yes, but that's where people say that's where the system is left to run the way it should. But where, like we understand in some of these countries, they are altering the rules and also making it that it favors, the outcome favors them. They say that gives, it appears they are also preparing the ground and making it easy for these people to justify their actions. And if ECOWAS, for instance, and we say the body of presidents or the body of countries cannot take a role to help bring that to an end.
You know, ECOWAS has a protocol they call, I think, Good Governance Protocol.
Yes.
Under that Good Governance Protocol, they also have a provision for a standby force.
True.
And we have seen it, they applied it in Gambia. In Guinea-Bissau, they nearly applied it, but something happened there. Then, because we found out that, as former President Goodluck Jonathan said, that what happened in Guinea-Bissau is not a coup.
Yeah, it was,
but he called it, maybe he said he didn't know the word to use. He said, but maybe RNG coup, better describe it. Because it was the former president there that invited soldiers to come and take over power. Because according to the results already released, he was not going to win the re-election. So he wanted to sabotage the real winner of that election. Then he invited his military friends to come and take over. So, but ECOWAS has done the right thing. They have a protocol that believing in good governance and so on. Yes, in some countries where they have weak institutions, like we have seen in the Africa Coast, they've changed the rules. They keep changing the rules.
They keep,
and it's unfortunate that they keep changing the rules. And this can actually anger some people and say they want to take over. You've seen even in Nigeria, there was an attempt in the past to change the rules when the former president was trying to get the third term. But the Nigerian people, the parliament, they remain strong and said, no, this won't happen in Nigeria. I don't think anybody will try to do that in Nigeria.
With ECOWAS, there was some discussions as regards a, would you call it a partnership on those borders to address this issue of the militias and all.
I think they still have it.
Okay.
You see there, that's the one based in N'Djamena.
Yeah, that's
MNJTF or something. They
yes.
still have it. Joint military, something. You see there, you see working. At times they make some, they attack these bandits and terrorists. They are still there. They are still there.
Okay, so we'll be looking and looking forward to that. And I think it comes down, let me tie into what you were saying earlier as regards the reactions, because how do you, let me just ask you from where you sit, how do you react when you put out statements and you get some reactions from Nigerians?
Some, I mean,
negative attack.
No, me, I'm not bothered. The point that you have put out information.
Yes.
Those who are very reasonable, who are calm, they will read the information and take whatever they want to take from it. As I said, you can never satisfy them. They always want to attack anything government does. And I think generally, even coming from the media, we normally have, as media people, you have this sentiment of this or some distrust against those who are in authorities. And so when people show that distrust, you don't blame them. It's left for government to continue to be focused. Once they find that the information you are giving out is true, is genuine, they come around to believe that, oh, what you are saying, is true. Look at government setting up NEL fund. Some Nigerians don't believe that NEL fund will give them money. They say, this is another thing, another trick by Bola Tinubu. But it's not. In fact, some of them who didn't apply, they've been blaming themselves they didn't apply. And those who applied, they've gotten the money. And they now believe that this thing is real. That otherwise, initially they were saying, government, it's another trick. They are lying to them, but this thing is a reality. So it's left for government to, when they want to do something, be focused. Don't let the side comments by people to derail you. Focus and continue to do it. They will see that you are really genuine and this is what you want to do. But
it will appear sometimes you use that as a gauge, because there are times where, like on the Sanda, the prerogative of mercy, it looked like a lot of people felt you listened to the reaction from the people, and then you took a step.
Fortunately for us in Nigeria, the man who is the president today is a good listener. He listens. I've told people that this man wakes up in the morning, he reads all our papers, he watches television, so he's well informed. So once he listens to you, this is what they are saying, this is their reaction. So he tries to make sure that he amends whatever he has, because government is not what do you call this all wisdom government. You listen to people, you can make mistakes, and you have seen him over time and time again reversing, amending whatever he has done to make it more pragmatic, more reasonable to people to really understand. So he listens. When he listens, he changes his ways.
So it's not like they shouldn't. It's just that you will want them to be a little bit. How would you put it?
No, some critics, instead of criticizing you, they abuse.
Okay.
Instead of saying, they say, if you say I want to do NEL fund, this is how I want to do it. Instead of them to say, why don't you follow this A, B, C way? They rather condemn it. Why are you bringing? Look at ASU condemning NEL fund, for instance. That it's not necessary. And I say, what is wrong with this labor union? This thing is good for the students. In fact, in my own generation, there was a loan policy by federal government in the 70s, student loan board they call it at that time. And so I didn't take it, but some students, they took the money at that time. So it's a good policy, because there are some children today whose parents are poor, who cannot afford to go to university because their parents are poor. So there's a policy that's in place, and it's helping the children of the poor to access tertiary education. I think it's a policy that everybody should laud.
With your experience in the media, do you feel to an extent the political terrain and the passions are sometimes responsible for how information from government is received?
No, I've said it that generally, all over the world, government is held in distrust. All over the world, politicians are never to be believed. It's a general. It's all over the world. Even in the USA, they think that politicians are liars, and government also is also a lying machine. So people don't want to believe government all the time. They want to believe government. And as I said, it's left for government to be focused. If you want to do it, let people see that you really mean well for them, and that what you are doing is positive, is to their interest. Because those in government may see things far ahead, and the ordinary person may be very so narrow-minded, they will not see the destination that government wants to take them to. So that's leadership.
Let me take you on the issue of the budget. As it is, we're coming to the halfway mark of the month, almost to the end of the year. Now, if you look at it, can we still pass this budget for the 2026 and hold on to the January-December calendar?
You know what has been decided is this: that because government has so many ambitious projects it wants to do,
yeah,
and it doesn't have all the resources. So you find a situation whereby the 2025, I think they've finished with 2024.
Yeah.
2025 capital budget, they've done 30%. And government has said, okay, the remaining 7%, instead of having an ultra new budget, transfer 70% of the capital of 2025 into 2026. Which means that the budget of 2026
is more or less
has already been decided.
Okay.
It just needs some, now putting in another 30%, you have your capital. And of course, the current, maybe the expenses you spent last year, maybe you have some other things to it, and then it becomes a requirement. So you have a budget. And some of the assumptions have already been stated.
In the medium-term expenditure framework.
So you can know that we have an idea of the budget, and the planning minister was saying he already had a conversation with the National Assembly over what should be done and so on.
We're running to the end of 2025. If you were to look and do a review of 2025, how would you say it has been from your perspective, from where you sit in the presidency?
I would say this has been a very good year for this presidency in terms of achievements. We've seen very good developments on the macroeconomic level, and we've even now seen, because people are saying before, oh, we are recording trade surplus, the foreign exchange reserve is rising, you can't feel it. But now we can say categorically that people are also beginning to feel it in terms of the reduction in food prices. Aliko Dangote's refinery announced a 16% reduction in the price of fuel. Coming very near Christmas season, it means people are going to have less expensive fuel to travel and to use and things like that. So this year, we've not only had the improvements in our macroeconomic indicators. I say we are beginning to feel it, that things are getting better, and we believe we can carry this on to 2026 for the country. And so the government, what it shows is that the reforms of the government, what they will spend 2.5 years doing, are finally yielding dividends, and not just on the macro level, but also now is beginning to show on the micro level.
Thank you very much for being our guest.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'd love to have your thoughts and perspective on some of the issues we discussed there. Let's hear what you have to say about the positions of our guest. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree? Where do you stand? Share your reactions and questions with us through our social media platforms and email. And for those who wish to revisit past conversations, our YouTube channel is there, has everything for you to look at. Simply search for Newsnight, explore the playlist, catch up whenever you like. Thank you for being there and for being part of the conversation. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay informed, and bye.